Have you ever wondered how hard it was before to connect to the internet? Or how long you needed to wait until the photos are developed? How the 80s kids made friendships abroad without any social networks? Hey there, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about the totally awesome 80s. For those of us who grew up during this rad decade, we have some amazing memories of cool stuff that was all the rage back then. But you know what? Kids today might not really get what made the 80s so special for us. So, let's explore 10 things from the 80s that might leave today's kids scratching their heads. Playing outside. In the 80s, playing outside with toys like skip-its and pogo balls was a favorite pastime for kids across the country, encouraging children to get outdoors and play. Skip-its was a popular toy, consisting of a plastic hoop with a weighted ball attached by a long cord. To use a skip-it, children would place the hoop around one ankle and start hopping, using their other foot to swing the weighted ball around in a circular motion. The goal was to keep the skip-it spinning without tripping or getting tangled in the cord, challenging kids to develop coordination and balance while having fun. Pogo balls, on the other hand, were inflatable rubber balls with a platform on top. To use a pogo ball, children would stand on the platform and bounce up and down, using their feet to propel themselves into the air. With practice, kids could perform tricks like jumping, spinning, and balancing on the pogo ball, providing a thrilling and engaging outdoor activity. During the 80s, skip-its and pogo balls became cultural phenomena, capturing the imagination of children and becoming must-have toys. Companies like Wham-O and Tiger Electronics produced these toys in large quantities to meet the demand of eager consumers, experiencing peak popularity in the mid-80s. With millions of units sold worldwide. These toys were featured in television commercials, catalogs, and playgrounds, becoming iconic symbols of 80s childhood. Today, they serve as nostalgic reminders of a simpler time when outdoor play was the highlight of childhood. Recording songs. Recording songs from the radio onto cassette tapes was a beloved ritual for music enthusiasts in the 80s. They would patiently wait for their favorite songs to come on the radio, armed with blank cassette tapes and their trusty tape decks. As soon as the DJ announced the beginning of a hit song, carefully pressed the record button captured every note and lyric. This process wasn't just about passively listening to music. It was an art form. Meticulously curated mixtapes, perfectly selected sequence of songs to fit a particular mood or occasion. The popularity of recording songs from the radio onto cassette tapes skyrocketed during the 80s. According to Nielsen Music, cassette tape sales peaked in 1988, with over 400 million units sold in the United States alone. This surge in cassette tape sales was largely driven by the practice of recording songs from the radio, as well as the popularity of pre-recorded cassette albums. But with the advent of digital music streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, the era of recording songs from the radio onto cassette tapes has faded into history. Today's generation may never experience the thrill of waiting for their favorite song to come on the radio and quickly hitting record to capture it forever. Instead, they have instant access to millions of songs at their fingertips, making the art of creating mixtapes a relic of the past. Photo develop. In the 80s, waiting for photos to develop was an integral part of the photography experience. This process involved taking the exposed film to a photo lab or drugstore, where it would be developed and printed onto photographic paper. The waiting game began as soon as the film was dropped. It could take anywhere from a few hours to several days for the photos to be ready, depending on the workload of the lab and the type of processing requested. During this time, the people anxiously wondered how their pictures turned out, eagerly anticipating the moment when they could hold their memories in their hands. The process of waiting for photos to develop was not just about the end result, it was also a social experience. The photos were often shared with friends and family, gathering around to reminisce about the moments captured on film. It was a tangible way to relive memories and connect with loved ones. According to data from the Photo Marketing Association International, the 80s marked a peak in the popularity of film photography, with millions of rolls of film sold each year. However, with the advent of digital cameras and smartphones, the era of waiting for photos to develop has become a thing of the past. Today, we can instantly view and share our photos with the tap of a finger, making the anticipation of waiting for film to be developed a distant memory. Video rental. Going to video rental stores like Blockbuster was a quintessential part of the movie-watching experience in the 80s. The process of renting a movie from Blockbuster was straightforward but memorable. Customers would browse the aisles, scanning shelves filled with VHS tapes and later DVDs. They would carefully select their desired movies, often consulting staff recommendations or browsing through genre categories to find the perfect film for the evening. Blockbuster's rise to prominence in the 80s coincided with the booming popularity of home video consumption. By the end of the decade, Blockbuster had become the largest video rental chain in the United States, with thousands of stores nationwide. In 1989, the company went public, further solidifying its position as a leader in the home entertainment industry. The appeal of Blockbuster and similar video rental stores extended beyond just movie rentals. These establishments also served as community hubs, hosting events such as movie nights and video game tournaments. Families would often make a trip to Blockbuster a part of their weekend routine, eagerly anticipating the opportunity to browse the latest releases and discover hidden gems. However, with the advent of digital streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, the era of video rental stores like Blockbuster gradually came to an end. By the early 2000s, Blockbuster began closing stores at a rapid pace, unable to compete with the convenience and affordability of streaming. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy, marking the end of an era in home entertainment. Arcades. In the 80s, going to arcades to play video games was an important part of youth culture. Arcades were vibrant, bustling spaces filled with rows of brightly lit machines, each offering a unique gaming experience. Kids exchanged their hard-earned quarters for tokens or credits, and later used to start playing their favorite games. With each game, they immersed themselves in the virtual worlds created by iconic titles like Donkey Kong, Galaga, and Frogger. The 80s kids competed against friends or strangers, striving to achieve the highest scores and earn bragging rights. Arcades were not just places to play video games. They were social hubs where friendships were forged and rivalries were born. Kids gathered with friends after school or on weekends, spending hours engrossed in the latest gaming challenges. For many of them, arcades were a haven where they could escape the pressures of everyday life and lose themselves in the thrill of gaming. During the 80s, arcades experienced a boom in popularity, with new arcades opening up in malls, amusement parks, and standalone locations across the country. According to the Amusement and Music Operators Association, the number of arcades in the United States peaked in the mid-80s, with over 10,000 arcades nationwide. However, the golden age of arcades began to decline in the late 80s and early 90s, as home gaming consoles like the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, and Sega Genesis gained popularity. With the convenience of gaming at home and the rise of online multiplayer gaming, arcades gradually lost their appeal. Pen pals. Writing letters to pen pals was a popular and cherished pastime that connected people from around the world in the 80s. It was a way to make friends, learn about different cultures, and exchange ideas in a pre-internet era. The process of finding and corresponding with a pen pal was both exciting and rewarding. To find a pen pal, individuals often turned to pen pal clubs, international organizations, or school programs. Some even placed ads in magazines or newspapers seeking pen pals. Once a connection was established, letters would be exchanged through traditional mail. Each letter was a window into the life of the sender, sharing personal stories, interests, and experiences. Pen pal relationships fostered cultural exchange and language learning. People learned about different customs, traditions, and ways of life from their pen pals. It was a way to broaden horizons and gain new perspectives without ever leaving home. During the 80s, pen pal culture flourished, with millions of people around the world participating in pen pal exchanges. Organizations like Pen Pal World and International Pen Friends facilitated connections between individuals of all ages and backgrounds. However, with the advent of the internet and social media, the practice of writing letters to pen pals has declined. Email, instant messaging, and social networking platforms have made communication faster and more convenient. leading to a decrease in traditional letter writing. Using payphones. In the 80s, using payphones was a common and essential means of communication for people on the go. Before the widespread use of mobile phones, payphones provided a convenient way to make calls while away from home or the office. To use a payphone, individuals needed to have coins or a calling card. Payphones were typically found in public places such as street corners, airports, train stations, and shopping malls, providing accessibility to communication for anyone in need. During the 80s, payphones were an integral part of everyday life and played a crucial role in emergencies, allowing people to quickly reach out for help or assistance. They were also a lifeline for travelers, providing a means of contacting loved ones or arranging transportation. The number of payphones in the United States peaked in the mid-80s, with over 2 million payphones installed across the country. However, with the advent of mobile phones in the late 90s and early 2000s, the use of payphones began to decline rapidly. The convenience and affordability of mobile phones made them a preferred choice for communication, leading to a significant decrease in payphone usage. Today, payphones are a rare sight, with many of them removed or decommissioned due to low usage and maintenance costs. Walkman. In the 80s, Walkman revolutionized the way people listened to music on the go. These portable cassette players allowed individuals to take their favorite tunes with them wherever they went. The Walkman quickly became a cultural phenomenon, with millions of units sold worldwide. Sony, the company behind the Walkman, introduced the device in 1979, and it gained widespread popularity throughout the 80s. The Walkman not only revolutionized the way people listened to music, but also changed the way they interacted with it, allowing for personalized, portable listening experiences. The success of the Walkman led to the development of various iterations and spin-offs, including models with AM/FM radios, dual cassette decks for recording, and even waterproof versions for outdoor use. Its popularity extended beyond music enthusiasts to athletes, travelers, and commuters who appreciated its compact design and portable nature. By the late 80s and early 90s, the Walkman faced competition from portable CD players and, eventually, digital music players like the iPod. However, its impact on music culture and the way we consume music remains significant. Today, the Walkman is remembered as an iconic symbol of 80s pop culture, representing a time when music became more portable and accessible than ever before. Polaroid cameras. Polaroid cameras were the essence of instant photography, allowing users to capture and develop photos on the spot. These cameras revolutionized the way people documented and shared moments, offering immediate gratification in a pre-digital age. After capturing the image, the real magic happened. The exposed film would be ejected from the camera, and users would watch in anticipation as the image gradually appeared on the blank sheet of film. Within minutes, the photo would fully develop before their eyes, revealing a tangible memory captured in vivid color or monochrome. Polaroid cameras became immensely popular during the 80s, with models like the Polaroid SX70 and Polaroid One-Step capturing the imagination of photographers and amateurs alike. The convenience of instant photography made Polaroid cameras a favorite choice for capturing spontaneous moments at parties, family gatherings, and vacations. The company's innovative approach to photography and its iconic branding made Polaroid a household name, synonymous with instant gratification and creativity. However, the rise of digital photography in the late 90s and early 2000s posed challenges for Polaroid, leading to a decline in sales and the eventual discontinuation of instant film production in 2008. Despite this, the nostalgia for Polaroid cameras remains strong, with enthusiasts and collectors preserving the magic of instant photography in the digital age. Dial-up internet. In the 80s, dial-up internet was the gateway to the digital world, connecting millions of users to online services and bulletin board systems, BBS. This method of internet access relied on a standard telephone line and a modem to establish a connection to an internet service provider, ISP. As the modem emitted a series of beeps and whistles, users would wait anxiously for the connection to be established, often accompanied by the familiar sound of the modem connecting to the internet. Once connected, users could browse the web, send emails, and access online services. The speed of dial-up internet was limited by the capabilities of the modem and the quality of the telephone line, often resulting in sluggish load times and frequent disconnections. Despite its limitations, dial-up internet played a pivotal role in shaping the early days of the internet and fostering online communities. However, the advent of broadband internet, which offered significantly faster speeds and an always-on connection, led to the decline of dial-up internet in the mid-2000s. Today, dial-up internet is largely obsolete, with broadband and wireless technologies dominating the internet landscape. However, it remains a nostalgic reminder of a simpler time in the history of the internet, when connecting to the web required patience, persistence, and a little bit of magic. And there you have it, 10 things from the 80s that kids today will never experience. It's amazing how much the world has changed since then, but these memories will always hold a special place in our hearts. Which of these things do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane. Until next time, stay awesome.